Okay, I think we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome everyone. You know what? I need to adjust the camera. It's weird. I don't know, it's just different having my whole ass face just right there. But we're trying something different. We'll see how it works out, right? Oh. Wow. Happy Wednesday, everybody. How's your day going? I see you in the chats. Cowboy subs, Cowboys 5 subs, 5 SBS. I don't know. Welcome. Nice to see you. Testy Johnson, always a pleasure. Oh my, oh boy, do we got a lot to talk about today. Conservative liberalism, nice to see you. Look, I had a whole show planned for today, okay? I had a whole topic. For those of you who don't know and missed yesterday's show, we had a great discussion with Destiny and a few others about court reform, about SCOTUS in general, and it branched out into a few different topics. And one of the subjects that came up was the filibuster, and it dawned on me, reading some of the comments and also during that discussion, that people do not understand the history. I'm not talking like the origins of the filibuster. I'm talking about the recent last 20 years, right? The history of how the filibuster has been used, what it's been used for, the changes it has gone through, Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell's back and forth. I think a lot of people aren't familiar or have been misinformed on what all went through there, and I wanted to discuss it. But, much to my chagrin, Mantis, nice to see you, by the way, there was another incident that occurred today that has drawn my eyes. It has stolen my interest in a lot of ways. And so while we are going to talk about the filibuster at some point today, that probably will happen, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, gang. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. The Department of Justice recently released, and by recently I mean today, they released an indictment, okay? An indictment against Russian operatives who are accused of deceiving podcasters and media companies to spread Putin's propaganda. The accusations are that they tricked these companies into basically spreading lies, spreading misinformation to their audiences. Tim Pool and Lauren Southern are implicated in this. They aren't specifically named, to be clear, but all signs point to them. They talked about TENET, the media company TENET, which they're involved in, and Tim Pool also responded to the allegations, and we're going to get to that. We're going to read through it. We're going to see what he says and his thoughts on this. But there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of angles to take it. So, hold on, Headless Chicken. The language of the indictment is that the Russian operatives deceived these media companies. This is the indictment's words, not mine. So, I mean, you can say that they weren't deceived, but that's not what the indictment is saying. The indictment is saying that they tricked them into it. That's the application. That's what the accusation is. You can disagree, but fair enough. You're disagreeing with the indictment. So I guess, look, we're going to go through an article about it. We are going to read Tim Pool's response, and then we are going to talk. We might read the indictment proper. It's 32 pages. It's not terribly long, and we're going to discuss it. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about it. I have reached out to Lauren Southern. I know a guy who knows a guy, right? And I have emailed her, and hopefully, I would love to have her on to discuss the accusations, if you will, because she is implicated in this, right? And again, the indictment does not say that she was a knowing participant. The indictment alleges that the Russian operatives in question tricked these companies into doing these things. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about it. Let's get to it. I think I got my setup right. Let me make sure I have the right things up. And we will go. Okay, there's a few articles on this. I picked the one from Media's MTN. It may not be the best source, but it's the source I saw initially. So let's go through it. Let's see if we can adjust the... Hold on. So we can see the whole thing. Hold on. Give me a second. Just a slight adjustment here. So, DOJ indicts Russian nationals in $10 million scheme to spread covert propaganda to U.S. audiences. 2 Russian nationals employed by state-controlled media outlet Russian Times, RT, are charged with conspiring to violate U.S. laws by secretly funding and directing pro-Russian content on social media platforms. Heavy accusation. The indictment just was unveiled today. Let's, as you can see, the little icon they're using with Putin at the head, and you got Tim Pool, Lauren Southern. I don't even know who this fucker is. And then you got Tucker Carlson. Who is this guy? Who's this one? Who's this little guy? Do we know? I don't actually know. Does anyone? How did they trick them? Sounds like damage control. I don't know. We're going to get into it. Like I said, this just dropped. I've not read the indictment in full. I've read most of it, but I haven't read it in full. I figured I'd read it on stream with you guys, right? So this is just my first initial impressions, first blush kind of look at these things. I've read Tim Pool's response too, but let's go through the article. Yeah, let's get to it. The Department of Justice has unsealed an indictment charging 2 Russian nationals, Konstantin Kalashnikov, KK and EA, with conspiring to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, and money laundering in a scheme to covertly influence U.S. audiences. Both Kalashnikov and Afansanya remain at large. Oh, God. Look, forgive me. I am terrible at pronouncing foreign names. It is a failing. Let's just go with it. Okay, please forgive me. The indictment reveals that Kalashnikov, 31, and Afa, 27, who were employees of Russian state-controlled media outlet RT, played pivotal roles in funneling nearly $10 million to a Tennessee-based online content creation company, referred to in court documents as U.S. Company -1. The content company, unbeknownst to its viewers, was funded and directed by RT to produce pro-Russia videos aimed at America's social media users. This company is believed to be TENET Media, who touts right-wing host Lauren Southern, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson. I guess Benny Johnson, is that the guy? As part, and others as part of their roster. Again, this is the supposition, right? This is the assumption that is being made. They aren't specifically named in the indictment. However, the numbers match. So in the indictment, they mention certain follower counts, right? And they match up perfectly with the ones that are being referred to here. So again, please bear in mind that there is some assumption going on here, okay? That there is some, this is not super set in stone firm. Please keep that in mind, right, when we're going through. But the evidence suggests that this is a company. The evidence suggests that it is TENET, as I've seen it. And again, Tim Pool responds directly to these accusations, which, yes, I got a link to the indictment, which is right here. I will post it in chat for you guys, right? That's the indictment itself. Oh my God, that link did not work. Okay, just search it. You'll find it. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's a much better link. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm terrible at links, but yeah, these are the accusations levied. So let's keep going. The indictment remarks On its website, US Company -1 describes itself as a network of heterodox commentators that focus on Western political and cultural issues. And that phrase matches with TENET's slogan, which appears on their website. Again, this is just the article given evidence to why they are assuming that it is TENET Media Company. Okay. So one of the pieces of evidence that they are given is that in the indictment, the slogan mentioned matches with the slogan of TENET directly. So that is evidence point one that points to TENET being the media company that is being referred to in the indictment at large. Is it surefire, 100% foolproof evidence? No, but it's pretty strong in my opinion. It's pretty good correlation. It's a pretty good correlation, let's say that. The indictment further states that Kalishnikov, Founder-1 and Founder-2, also worked together to deceive two U.S. online commentators who respectively have over 2.4 million and 1.3 million YouTube subscribers. Founder-1 and Founder-2 contracted with Commentator-1 and Commentator-2 to produce videos using Commentator-1 and Commentator-2's own names and leveraging their existing audiences for licensing and publication by U.S. Company 1. Again, let's keep in mind the language here. The indictment is stating that the Founder-1 and Founder-2, so the Russian agents, deceived these people. They tricked them. Okay, they used their technology. Okay, I don't know the details, but that is the alleging. That is what's being alleged. Okay. Again, the commentators, 2.4 million and 1.3 million, seem to match up with the accounts of Benny Johnson and Tim Pool, as is stated in the article later. These subscriber counts mentioned in the indictment match the number of YouTube subscribers for the accounts of Benny Johnson and Tim Pool, respectively. Conservative liberalism says, I assume the trickery was magic-based? Maybe. Maybe they just tricked them by, like, throwing a bunch of money at them. I don't know. Right? We're just getting this information. We're looking at it right now together, gang. Okay. So, keep that in mind that this is just happening now live as we speak. Right. So information I'm going to give you isn't going to be perfect. We're going to have to verify. Don't take anything as gospel here. I keep saying that for a reason, because more information can come out later. These allegations could be proven false. We are at the early stages. I don't know. All I can do is tell you what is being reported and what is happening and what my thoughts on this are, assuming there is any truth to the claims being making. Do better, Wick from Parallax. You know what? I can always do better, and everyone can always do better. That's just true. Be a better commentator, Parallax. Headless Chicken says, I'm only on page 4 and this is damning. Well, that's why I decided to cover it. I didn't read the whole indictment, but what I got to was like, damn! And I think we needed to talk about it. And there's a whole host of things to discuss in this. Like, for example, there has been this struggle between alternative media and legacy media, which is more trustworthy, which is more bought and paid for. Like, I've heard legacy media been touted, or the claim is that legacy media is big corporate media, right? There is some truth to this claim. But again, looking at the allegations in the indictment, it seems that at least with this particular company, this particular alternative media company, they're just in another big donor's pocket. So we're going to get to it. We're going to go through it. There you go. Bon and stuff says they just didn't know who was funding them, Wick. Again, deception was used, but I don't know to what extent. Proud to be working with TENET Media, I guess. I don't know. To be clear, TENET Media wasn't the one that's being alleged to have been deceptive here. It's these two individuals, Founder-1 and Founder-2, Kalishnikov and Afanasyev, or however you say her name. So that's the accusations. Let's keep going. Russia has long sought to exploit our free and open society by secretly influencing public opinion in the United States, said Attorney General Merrick Garland. The Department of Justice will not tolerate these covert efforts by foreign adversaries to manipulate our democracy. The DOJ alleges that between October 2023 and August 2024, RT transferred nearly $10 million to U.S. Company One through a network of shell companies in Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and Mauritius. The funds were allegedly used to produce and distribute content designed to sow discord among Americans, amplifying domestic divisions on issues like immigration, inflation, and U.S. foreign policy. So the allegation isn't just that they were paid to produce Russian propaganda, but that they were paid through shell companies, through a network of donors and things like that, in order to fund any content that would sow division amongst Americans, which is a very broad list of topics. The company is assumed to be TENET, which touts itself as an alt-right media company, right? It's considered to be, at least, an alt-right, alternative, right-wing leaning media company. So there you are. They call themselves heterodox, but you know. Russia's influence operations, as orchestrated by RT, are sophisticated and deceptive, said Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. The defendants in this case used fake personas, shell companies, and misleading information to push Russian propaganda to millions of Americans. Since its launch in November 2023, U.S. Company One, believed to be TENET Media, has posted nearly 2,000 videos across platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X, garnering over 16 million views on YouTube alone. The DOJ notes that while the content appeared to offer commentary on domestic issues, it was aligned with Russian government's goal of weakening U.S. opposition to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Wild, gang. It's wild. Toby1 Kenobi says, still blown away that alt-right aligns with Russia today. Why are we blown away by this? Preserve Liberalism says, but if Tim maintained creative control, as you say you do with regards to BV, someone just decided to fund an already existing point of view. These can be deep waters. Well, yes. Again, there's a lot to discuss here. If I found out, right, that PV was secretly working with China, for example, that they had deceived me and China had been funding them the whole time with the express intent and purpose to sow discord in America to further China's aims. If I discovered that that was true, it's not, as far as I can tell, right? I get no sense of that. There's no evidence for that, right? But let's live in the hypothetical that this happened. I would lose sleep over that. It would give me pause, right? It would give me pause that China considered my content to be furthering their aims and goals, to be useful to them in order to push their agenda onto the American people. I would be taken aback. I'd have to do a lot of really soul searching here, a lot of deep thought, and I wonder. I do wonder, and we're gonna get to Tim Pool's response here, right? But I do wonder how much that Tim Pool, who claims he was deceived if these allegations are true, right? That he didn't know. I do wonder how much sleep he is losing over this, right? Does it give him pause to realize that Putin, right? Putin thought that his content was useful in their aim to sow discord and weaken America. Does he take a moment to let that sink in, right? I don't know. Well, I mean, he gives us a hint in his response, but we'll get to that, gang. We'll get to that. Yeah, it's one of those things where it bears a lot of discussion, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Okay, let's keep going. The defendants are also accused of deceiving two U.S.-based online commentators with large followings into producing content for U.S. Company One without disclosing RT's involvement. The DOJ alleges that RT used a fictional persona named Edward Grigorian to conceal its role as the company's true financial Okay, if you are getting money from a dude named Edward with a U, I have questions, right? Like, that's a weird name. Edward Grigorian? The name seems weird to me. I don't know. Within the indictment lies a troubling sequence involving directives from Elena Afansieva, alias Helena Shudra, to manipulate Helena. Please, let's use her name. Helena. I can say Helena. To manipulate content creation at U.S. Company One, aiming to tailor videos to specific agendas. Notably, in early 2024, AFA orchestrated the creation of tailored content that included a video featuring a well-known U.S. political commentator who Media's Touch can identify as Tucker Carlson during a bizarre visit to a Russian grocery store in which Carlson said he was radicalized by how low the prices were in Moscow. So the indictment here is accusing this person, Elena, of manipulating and orchestrating that scene, to manipulating Tucker Carlson into that take, into doing that content, into having the position that he has. I'm curious what that alleged manipulation looked like. Like, was this just a matter of her using persuasive powers? Was there dangling of money if you say these things? Like, what did the manipulation look like? I'm just curious. How did that play out? What did the orchestration entail? I think it matters, right? I think there's different levels of judgment I have for the people who have been deceived based on what that deception looks like. How insidious was the deception? Were these people buddying up? Is like this? Because I talk to people all the time in my life, right? Family and friends. And my friends and family influence me in various ways, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively. And if you are a content creator, you learn really quickly, and I'm sure these bigger ones know it far better than I do. I'm sure of this, right? That people all the time are trying to manipulate your views. They're trying to either manipulating into coming on their shows or doing a segment on a thing they like. They're all the time trying to influence you in one way or another. That's normal state of affairs, right? So there are few people you can trust to give you their honest opinion, okay? If these people, the founders, right, the founder 1 and founder 2, the Russian operatives, had somehow weaseled themselves into a position where they were Tucker Carlson and Tim Pool's confidant, in a way, I have some sympathy for Tim Pool in this, right? I have some sympathy for Tucker Carlson in this because this is someone that they trusted who lied to them. Now, if I don't have that much sympathy, to be clear, but I can understand it, right? Now, if the situation is such that they were people just who were dangling money at them if they did certain segments, and that was the orchestrated influence, or promising them kind of rewards of various kinds, they did these things, I have no sympathy for Tucker Carlson or Tim Pool, right? Zero. So it really depends on what this looks like. The indictment, as far as I could tell, doesn't say and they wouldn't, right? The indictment probably wouldn't go into detail here. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about it. Edward Gregorian, yeah, it's a name. Founder 1 and Founder 2 are all but confirmed to be Lauren Chen and her husband. I don't think that's it. Cancel the communists. I don't think Founder 1 and Founder 2 are no. So Founder 1 and Founder 2 are told to be these Russian names. Let's see. In the indictment, it says that wait, no, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. No, I'm right. Hold on. Yeah. Kalishnikov and Afanasyev are referred to as Founder 1 and Founder 2. So, no, Lauren Chen isn't Founder 1 or Founder 2. This is just the language of the document of the indictment. It's not referring to the founder of TENET Media Company. That's not what this is. Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 are the alleged YouTube the commentators, if you will, who have been deceived, right? Who were contracted into producing this content. And the guess is that it was Benny Johnson and Tim Pool. But that is just a guess, to be clear, right? So again, Lauren Chen, not named as a founder, right? She is the owner of TENET Media Company. So it's reasonable to believe that somewhere along her line, some decision that she made or did not make may have facilitated this, but we don't know at this point. $5 from Zephyr Hash to say, Russia. Camellia Harris has weaponized the DOJ. Is that is that going to be their line? It very well might be. Do you guys remember just the other day, Tim Pool was threatening to sue Kamala HQ, the Twitter account of I'm not sure if it was the official Kamala campaign Twitter account or not. I'm not sure. But Kamala HQ was threatened with lawsuit by Tim Pool for alleging that he was a Trump operative. Well, looks like Kamala HQ did get that one wrong. Okay. Took a little bit of an L there because Tim Pool wasn't a Trump operative. Looks like he was a Putin operative. Unknowingly, apparently. But there you go. So a little bit of an L for Kamala HQ, but you know, I don't think that Tim Pool should be celebrating this as a win for now. But you never know. Again, this is alleged. And again, I want to be clear that the indictment shows that this was a deception was used. So and there is a different judgment I give to someone who is knowingly doing something and someone who is tricked into it. There's different levels here. There's some nuance here of judgment that we could give. But yes, this is the indictment. This is what the indictment says. This is what the evidence points to. Joe Thummake says, if you read the indictment and it claims that Tim Pool et al. Were victims of Chen's machinations. Chen's machinations? Where are we getting Chen from? Again, I haven't read the whole indictment. I have it up. We're going to get through it. But, yeah, like, look, and we're going to read Tim Pool's response here in a minute. It's clear, right? It's clear that Tim Pool was deceived. He is a victim in some level. Yes, that's true. But again, I have to ask, does it give him pause to know that Russia thought of him as an asset? That Russia thought of him as a useful tool to sow dissent across America and further their aims? Does it give him does he lose any sleep over that? I know I would. Wouldn't Chen be owner 1 or owner 2? So again, as the article stated, there's two groups being referred to. Company 1, which is believed to be TENET. There is Founder 1 and Founder 2, which are the operatives, the Russian operatives, Kalishnikov and Afa, name I can't say. And then there is commentator 1 and commentator 2, who are alleged to be Tim Pool and the other guy, Benny Brooks. I'd have to look at the name, right? Chen so far isn't mentioned that I've seen. Again, I could be wrong. Wick, are you familiar with the Steele dossier? I'm a little bit. Look, that was from the 2016, right? That was years ago. I'd have to do a fucking refresher on that. I'm not equipped to talk about the Steele dossier today, okay? I'm just not. I'd have to look into it. Is this a fact like this 100% confirmed, or is this just guessing? So there is an indictment that dropped today, and we're going to get to it, right? So here is the indictment. Like, we're going to read it. We're going to go through it. We're going to look into it. So the indictment is real, 100%. They allege certain things to be true. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, right? That's why we have a process of this. But these are the alleged facts, okay? Do we know this 100% to be true? No. It's an indictment. It's alleged. But look, if you're being indicted by the U.S. government for something, like, it's not 100% of guilt, but they have a pretty good conviction rate for a reason, okay? I don't think that they would bring this frivolously. They believe that this is something that they can win on. Again, we have a process in this country for a reason. This does not mean that you're guilty, but damn, okay? The accusation is a lot, okay? The accusation is a lot. Again, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And yes, the as I said, we assume it's TENET because of some of the evidence of the wording used in the document, right? Namely, right, their slogan. The indictment mentions TENET slogan. It doesn't name TENET directly. Headless Chicken subscribes for 5 months. I appreciate our love-hate relationship. Well, I appreciate you too. I like when people disagree with me, and we fight, but it is what it is. The TENET tone was yeah. So yeah, my money's on it being TENET. I don't know for sure. They don't name the company directly, but all the evidence suggests and points to it being TENET. They're referring to TENET here. Might not be true. This is some supposition, as I said. But yeah, we're going to go through it. We're going to see. Okay, we are almost done with this. Oh, man. Oh, maybe we're not. This article is super long, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. Okay. I lost my place because I had been going up. So maybe that's why I think it was longer than it was. One moment, please, gang. Forgive me. Oh, yes, we're on the grocery store part. Okay, back to it. This particular piece was strategically circulated within U.S. Company One's producer Discord channel, prompting internal concerns among the staff about the overtly promotional nature of the content. So, again, according to the indictment, there were people who had problems with this in the company, right? In TENET. That had questions that were like saying, hey, this is a little weird. This is a little off-putting. This seems like an infomercial for Russia, right? This is again what the indictment alleges, that there was concerns about this brought up in the company. Producer one, a staff. Oh, now we got more people to add to the list, gang. Maybe I should start a notes sheet so everyone knows, right? And do it Destiny style, right? Where he has his little notes. I don't know if I have the setup for that right now, but it might be useful, right? What do you think, gang? Should I do that? I could. It would only take me a minute to put that together. What do you think? Yes? No? Or do we just want to go through this? Right? How useful would that be? Cancel the Communist says, in this Company One paragraph, it refers to founders 1 plus 2, showing that they are the founders of TENET, not the Russians from RT. Can you link that? I'm not seeing that in the document, but again, this just dropped. I could be wrong. You have my DMs on Twitter. Link it to me, or Discord, I should say. Link it to me on Discord, and I'll look at it. Because again, the article is claiming, and as I read the indictment, it seemed to match up, that Founder 1 and Founder 2 were these individuals, the Russian operatives. Again, I could be wrong, but this is what the article is stating. The article could be wrong. This is very new information. But yeah, if you have counter stuff, please link that to me. Oh, are you alleging that they're 4 different people? So Kalashnikov, Afanasyev, Founder 1 and Founder 2 are actually 4 people? Did I read it wrong in the article? Let me look. You know what? You guys are correct. I was wrong. Forgive me, please. No, you guys are entirely correct that they are 4 different people. I assumed that Kalashnikov and Afanasyev were Founder 1 and Founder 2. On rereading it, no, that is incorrect. I apologize. I retract that. This is why we do chat. This is why I love you. This is why I love you, okay? You correct me when I'm wrong. Nope, I'm going to take the L there. I was wrong. So no, there are 4 people at play. Founder 1 and Founder 2, and then Kalashnikov and Afanasyev. So, fair enough. DM'd you for nothing? Yeah, sorry. This is a problem with new information, right? We're going through it. Founder 1 is supposedly Lauren Chen, maybe, yeah. Yeah, so, no, again, this is why I like reading with you guys. This is why I went live to do this. I looked over it initially. I get things wrong. Time to time. Give me a moment to readjust then. So yes, okay. Maybe Founder 1 and Founder 2 have a lot more. So again, with that information, Founder 1 and Founder 2 are being accused of purposely being deceptive towards the commentators. So yes, if Founder 1 and Founder 2 are Lauren Chen and her husband, then they are active deceivers in this, which is a whole hell of a lot more of an accusation. If it's true, okay? So, yes. Yes, Lauren Chen bears a whole hell of a lot of blame if Founder 1 does refer to her, or Founder 2 maybe, right? Because would they put Lauren Chen first or her husband? I don't know. And if the accusations of this being deceptive practice were true. So there you go. I've corrected the record. We'll keep going. Boop, 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 bloop, bloop. So where was I? Oh, grocery store, yes. So the particular piece was, okay, so we got to this part where there were some people who were in the company who had some issues with it. So Producer 1, a new individual here, Producer 1, a staff member at the U.S. Company 1, expressed reservations about posting the video, describing it as overt shilling. Despite these concerns, the directive from the higher-ups was clear, with Founder 2 instructing to proceed with publishing the video to align with the broader influence campaign, underscoring the depth of control exerted over the content output to serve specific propagandistic purposes. So despite the objections of some in the company, they were overruled, and Founder 2 specifically is accused of instructing them to proceed despite the misgivings of Producer 1. Interesting. The plot thickens, gang. The plot thickens. All right. This episode exemplifies the sophisticated methods employed by RT's operatives to exploit the credibility of well-known U.S. figures to further their propaganda efforts under the guise of regular social media content. Sophisticated is a weird word to use there. I get what they're saying. I won't complain about it too much. I get what they're trying to say here. Fair enough. Okay. I won't, pick at it too much. It's just, it strikes me as an odd word to use. This doesn't seem sophisticated. It seems pretty blunt, like a hammer to this thing. But it was sneaky, I guess. Very sneaky. And yeah, it just, again, despite objections of those in the company, they just ran with it. And they deceived their commentators. That's crazy, gang. That's crazy. Let's keep reading. Okay, we're almost at the end, gang. We're almost there. The indictment underscores RT's ongoing efforts to continue its influence operations in Western countries, despite formal bans and sanctions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. So, to be clear, that's the law that was broken. It's not that they were paying for content. It's that they were foreign agents that were going around a formal ban and sanction, right? They were violating the Foreign Aid Reduction Act or some shit, right? Whatever FARA stands for, okay? That's the crime. The other shit is sussy, right? But if an American company did this, it wouldn't be a crime. It wouldn't be foreign, or at least not the same crime, if you will. But yeah, that was the crime that's alleged. According to the DOJ, RT's editor-in-chief boasted about creating an empire of covert projects to shape public opinion in the West. This is why I take objection to the idea that this is sophisticated. No, they're telling us, they're like, no, we're building a bunch of operatives in the West, right? We're building a bunch of American shills, and you can't stop us, haha. This is out in the open. This is something they're saying. They're bragging about it. This isn't sophisticated, secret, sneaky that much, right? But it does come into the fact that they wanted to get this veneer of authenticity about it. And so they lied to their commentators. Or at least that's what's alleged, that they lied to their commentators and said, no, again, I don't know what the lies entail. I don't know what the deception entails. So we're guessing here. But I'm guessing, and I want to be clear, this is guesswork, that they're like, no. We just think it's great content, baby. We just think this is what the people want to hear, right? No. We're not being paid by Russia. No, you're good. No, you're just telling the truth. You're a truth teller. You get out there and you tell the best truth you can. Oh, look, here's some helpful notes. Here's some helpful notes from chat that they've given to you that you can read on screen if you like, right? That's how I imagine it happening. I have no evidence of if that's how it happened. I'm just guessing here. It's a supposition, but yeah, damn. Okay, both Kalishnikov and Afanasieva face charges of conspiracy to violate FARA, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison, and conspiracy to commit money laundering, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The FBI is leading the investigation into the case. The authorities are actively seeking the whereabouts of the defendants, so they don't know where they are. The case is part of a broader effort by the U.S. government to counter foreign malign influence operations aimed at undermining American democracy. And then they have a link to the indictment, which we'll get to in a second here. What are our thoughts? What's the initial thoughts here? What does my chat think? What do you think, dear viewers? Thank you, Aaron M. Sound, for sending the indictment DMs. I appreciate that. American traders or free speech? Why not both? So Founder 1 and Founder 2, which are suspected to be Lauren Chen and her husband, we don't know, suspected, definitely traitors. Definitely traitors. If they acted to deceive, knowingly to deceive, yes. That's treason. To aid a foreign entity to sow division in America I don't, like, maybe it doesn't meet the legal definition of treason, but it sounds like treason to me. If true, if the accusations are accurate. Does anyone disagree that that sounds like treason? Oh, yes, Chen's Canadian, so I guess it's a little different, huh? Canadian. So it can't be really treason if it's Canadian. Wick, do you see any possibility that this didn't happen? Not based on the evidence given to me, but there's always a chance that I don't know the whole story. The whole story isn't being presented to me. And I leave open that possibility that there has been lies from the government on this. It doesn't look like it, but this is, again, early days. I've been wrong before. I do leave open the possibility that maybe I'm wrong. I think that's useful to do. Toog says these guys are professionals at having the wool pulled over their eyes. Maybe. Yeah, Zero Fox says, LOL, she's just straight up a foreign national. Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Chen isn't a traitor because she's not an American citizen. No, that's fair. I don't think also the people who were deceived, I don't think that of them as traitors either. If you were deceived and tricked into it, it's not treason. I think treason is one of those crimes you have to commit knowingly. Does the CEO of PV have a Russian sounding name? No. No, he does not. And I haven't been given any content on the Ukraine war, in fact. I haven't been given any content, period, right? But yeah. Headless Chicken says, no way, Wick, you can't pass off their responsibility. How am I passing off responsibility here? Like, what they did is still illegal, and they're still going to be fined and probably go to jail. But whether or not it's treason or not, I don't know. I don't think so. If you're Canadian, you can't commit treason against the U.S. government. You're not a U.S. citizen. If they were Headless Chicken says, if they were celebrating the fact that they knew what was going on, they were no longer tricked. Did Tim Pool celebrate that fact? Did Benny Johnson celebrate that fact? Am I missing something? Do you have information I don't? Aircraft Sparky says an indictment is not evidence. It's a narrative. Evidence would be the Discord message in sus. Well, the indictment claims that they have evidence. Yes, the indictment points to the evidence that they have that they think is compelling and sufficient to get a conviction. They got, what, a 98% conviction rate, right? They're really good at their jobs. Who was celebrating in Discord? No, Headless Chicken, they were arguing in Discord. Producer 1, whoever Producer 1 is, I have no idea, expressed misgivings and said, I don't know if this is something we should be doing. And the indictment alleges that they were overruled, that Founder 1, or Founder 2, I should say, Founder 2 said, no, go ahead with it anyway. Let's run it. I'm going to overrule you. That's the alleged order of events here. So, no. The person who was celebrating that you're referring to was a Russian Times operative, which is named, let me get their name again. It's in here somewhere. Oh, it doesn't give his name, but the RT's editor-in-chief boasted about creating an empire of covert projects to shape a public opinion in the West. So that's who was boasting, some Russian editor-in-chief guy. So different people. Again, right, like I said, don't worry, I got the founder thing wrong in the beginning. My bad, but yeah, let's see. I think that's it. I think that's true. So, what are some other thoughts? Aircraft Sparky says, I have evidence that proves beyond a shadow of doubt PV works directly for the CCP. That's a narrative. I would then have to provide the evidence. By the way, totally made up evidence. Sure, if you can get a judge to sign off on an indictment and then get that indictment process through, it's something I will take more seriously than someone putting a message in a chat board, right? Or
throwing out a tweet, I think it's wise to take it more seriously as well. Does it not give you pause, right? Okay, Aircraft Sparky. If you had to put money on whether these accusations were credible or not, if gun to your head, you say you got to pick, which you picking? Credible or not credible? The fact that there's a whole ass indictment out. I'm not asking you to convict them. I'm not asking you to say we are not going to have a trial or anything. We know it's true. I'm just asking, do you think that this evidence is credible, as again provided or alluded to by the indictment? Do you think that it bears looking into? No, I'm not asking you, Tug. I'm asking Aircraft Sparky. Jimmy Beam says Tim's X post makes it look like him, but does any of this mean he was knowingly saying and making content as a Russian agent? Well, that's the thing. I don't think he knew about it. I think he was deceived. And again, the indictment alleges he was deceived, but there are still questions, right? Even if you are unknowingly and unwittingly aiding and abetting an enemy of America, that does bear some scrutiny. I think that does bring some questions in place. Aircraft Sparky says, just an indictment, I would be unconvinced. Allow me to see the evidence, then I could be swayed. So the fact that there's an indictment there isn't enough to make you think that this is a credible accusation. Okay. I mean, fair. Fair enough. Give me one moment, please, gang. I am making sure I got the right thing up and I don't expose my DMs. But we are going to read Tim Pool's statement on the whole thing because he put out a statement about it. And we're going to read it because I think it bears seeing what he has to say. Again, it is alleged, the supposition is that one of the commentators that was directly mentioned in the indictment was Tim Pool. He is called commentator 1 and 2, right? Or 1 or 2, I'm not sure which. But the supposition, the guess, based on the evidence, is that it is Tim Pool. In his post, which he, again, responds to these allegations. Well, we'll just read it and I'll let you decide for themselves. Okay? My statement regarding allegations in the leaked DOJ indictment. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims. I cannot speak for anyone else at the company as to what they do or what they are instructed. The Culture War podcast was licensed by TENET Media. It existed well before any license agreement with TENET, and it will continue to exist after any such agreement expires. The only change with the agreement was that the location of the live broadcast moved to TENET's YouTube channel. Never at any point did anyone other than I have full editorial control of the show, and the contents of the show are often apolitical. Examples include discussing spirituality, dating, and video games. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input from anyone external to the company. TCW is separate company, not associated with Timcast or other properties. It exists solely for the production of the Culture War podcast. That being said, we still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Putin is a scumbag. Russia sucks donkey balls. His words, not mine. And to the journalists who wish to jump the gun, create their own narrative, or lie about what is currently going on, you can eat my Irish ass. That's his response. That's what he says about it. I think the most important claims are that he had full editorial control of the content produced, and that the team produced the show without any input from anyone external to their company, right? So, no one was telling him what to show or what not to show, what to talk about or what not to talk about. That's his claim. Okay. I'm going to give him everything in this, right? I'm going to give him every single thing here. Fair enough. I have no reason to doubt him on this, right? I don't think that excuses it. I don't think he should come under any legal anything for this. To be clear, I want to make that clear up front. I don't think there should be lawsuits filed or criminal charges brought, assuming the allegations are true and this was unknowing, he was deceived, etc. I don't think any of that. But I do think that it should make him, Tim Pool himself, question what he's doing. Question his life, okay? I'm going to be real. Like, again, if I found out that my content was being supported, funded, and pushed by an enemy to America, Russia, who is, an enemy to America, I want to be clear, they are our enemies, gang. If I found out that my content was being pushed, funded, supported, and disseminated because Putin thought it made his job to sow dissent amongst Americans easier, that Putin thought that it made his job to weaken America easier, it'd be fucking devastating. I would take a look in the mirror. I would have to do some really serious soul searching. And yeah, I'd probably fucking delete my channel, honestly. I'd probably stop what I was doing because even unwittingly, I don't want to damage America. I don't want to work with Putin, right? Well, so even unwittingly, I'd be like, no, I can't do this anymore. Knowing that I'm aiding and abetting the enemy, even unknowingly, even unintentionally, I don't think I could do that, right? And we're not talking just like a one-off thing. We're not talking just like a one-time, they used one clip or something. This was alleged to go on for a while, right? Not just him. To be clear, it's not just Tim Pool, but there's quite a bit, right? I would have to look at my content and figure out what about my content is making Russia happy, and really take a look at that content to, I don't know. It would really depend on the context. I don't know. Nathu says Tim has to know what he's doing. No, he doesn't. Look, you guys are, anyone who's saying Tim had to know, he must know that he was doing this on purpose. No. Never underestimate people's ability to be stupid. Never underestimate that. Never underestimate people's ability to be ignorant. This is something that people's ignorance are sometimes invincible, gang, right? People's ignorance is sometimes just fucking invincible. There's nothing you can do or say to get through to it. They have built up fucking walls, okay? So the allegation is that he was deceived. I believe him. I believe him when he says that he was tricked. But that's a black mark against you, that Russia was able to trick you into this, right? It's something that you got to do some soul searching about. You got to really look at it. You got to really look at your content. You got to really look at what you're doing, and maybe reconsider. I don't know. Cancel the Communist says Tim Pool is the most useful idiot. It's that simple, chat. I don't know. He has some big competition. Tucker Carlson. Oh man, Tucker Carlson. Have you guys seen the crazy shit he's been saying on Twitter about the Holocaust denial guy, right?
about how Churchill was the real bad guy during World War II, that the wrong side lost. So I don't think Tim Pool's been saying that. Maybe you guys can correct me. I don't follow Tim Pool that closely. But yeah. Aircraft Sparky says Rob says he's filing with Farah tonight. What does that mean? Fate says amazing revelations. You can be critical of the U.S. and not be Russia op. Yes, you can. But it turns out that Tim Pool might have been a Russian op, right? Like, it turns out that they might have been using him as an op. Like, sure, yeah. You can do it, but it doesn't look like in this case that was the case. But again, it's just an indictment. We don't know the truth, right? This is just accusations. We'll have to wait till it's proved. Oh, man. Oh, Aircraft Turkey says Rob Noor was on the Culture War podcast with Tim Pool. Oh, fair enough. It's a joke. Got you. There are layers to this. A lot of people like to make these guilt by association things. Like, so-and-so was accused of X. You once worked with X in the past. Therefore, you are responsible for this person. And you helped this person. Or you worked with this person. I don't think it works like that. I tend to reject these kinds of comparisons and things like that. No, just being on someone's show before, or even having someone on your show doesn't mean you're responsible for their views. I just don't. Honkler says, Wick, what are your thoughts on Rob Noor? I actually find his arguments pretty engaging. I like Rob. He's fine. I think he's a little, and I'm sure he'd say this about me, right? So I think his brain politically is kind of broken. I think he swallowed the propaganda, but I'm sure he would say the same thing about me. But on a personal level, he seems like a decent enough guy, decent person. Yeah. That's my thoughts. I know a lot of people don't like that he apparently used ChatGPT in his debate. I don't care. I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. It's funny, and I absolutely am going to make fun of him for it because it's worthy of being made fun of, right? But it's not like a moral failing or anything. I was thinking of going. Speaking of things, like I was thinking of going recently. Today there was a Trump town hall nearby. It was within driving distance. Okay, there's a Trump town hall today within driving distance. And I was tempted to go. However, there's two things that stopped me. One, I found out about it last night, like after my Destiny panel. So I had no time to get anything together. I didn't have any recording stuff set up. Like, if I would have gone, I would have wanted to make content out of it. So I would have, like, done man on the street kind of interviews, talked to the people who went, got their opinions on things, talked about how they felt about the election, how they felt about Trump, how they felt about Kamala, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't have that, and I didn't have enough time to get that together, unfortunately. So that was one reason I didn't go. The second reason that I didn't go is because the rules, and I read the rules of because again, they were giving out tickets, and I was reading the rules, and one of the rules that they had, because there was going to be a question and answer session, and I was thinking, wow, I get to ask Trump a question. That would be great. But you need to get the questions pre-approved, and I don't think they would have approved the questions that I would have had in mind. And it wasn't clear to me that I would have been able to ask the question directly, or if they would have read the question on a piece of paper, right? It wasn't clear. And if I wasn't going to get to ask him a question directly, I don't know. I just don't care enough to go. You can't bring in more than a phone usually. Yeah, but I was thinking about outside the venue, right? So outside the venue and just doing kind of like a before and after, because seating started at a certain time and the actual event was a couple hours after the seating started. So before then,
just pulling people aside outside the venue and talking to them would have been interesting content, right? Lobstrella, you should be able to ruin the entire event with a question. If my entire event could be ruined by a single question, my event probably deserves to be ruined. It's like, if you tell the truth, it's going to ruin your narrative. Well, then it deserves to be ruined. Right? And again, I wasn't going to ask anything crazy. It was a simple question. If Kamala wins in November, will you accept the results of the election? That was the question I wanted to ask. I don't think that's particularly crazy to ask. I don't think that would have ruined the event. If Kamala Harris wins in 2024 in November, would you accept the results of the election? Easy question. Yes or no? Should be an easy yes, but I wanted to ask it. Unfortunately, didn't get to. Are you filibustering the filibuster conversation? Look, I wanted to talk about the Tim Pool stuff, okay? That came down. I want to have a panel on it, actually. And I'm going to try to set up one for next week, maybe Tuesday or Thursday. And I wanted to talk about, because I think the conversation I want to have is twofold, right? Maybe just DM me, Headless Chicken. The conversation I want to have is twofold. One, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the differences between legacy media, CNN, Fox, etc., and alternative media, alt media, if you will. This, to be clear, what you're watching right now is a form of alternative media. It falls under that umbrella. Lobsterella says that was so bad faith. What was bad faith about it? What am I bad faithing here? Are you talking about me being bad faith? What? In all the things that I've said in the last 5 minutes, what has been bad faith? No, I'm seriously asking. I'm curious. Lobsterella, what has been bad faith that I've said? Oh, are you talking about the ChatGPT accusations? Oh, I meant like crazy questions broadly. I mean, sure, if I was asking like, which would you rather, have butts on your face or a butt on your face, or have feet for hands? That would be a stupid question. I agree. Like, one of the biggest lies you're told as a child is that there are no stupid questions. That's not true. There are plenty of stupid questions, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty. But bad faith, like, you look, you can tell me I'm wrong. And we just had an incident earlier today where I was wrong. Earlier on this show where I was wrong. I was like, oops, my bad. I corrected it. But if I'm telling you something, I'm either doing one of two things. And I'll try to make it clear if it's the first. I'm steel manning something, right? I am taking a position to steel man it to drive conversation. And I'll generally let you know when that's happening. I'll be like, okay, this isn't my belief. I'm just steel manning this, and we're going to go. Or I actually believe what I'm saying. So those are the pretty much two things. I don't usually just play a character. If I'm dressed up as a kitty cat or a clown, I might be playing a character, okay? So there are streams where I've dressed up as a kitty cat or a clown. I'll give you a guess on whether or not I was playing a character then. Let's use some context clues when we're having discourse, okay? If the person you were conversing with is dressed up as a kitty cat, they might be playing a character. You might not get their real opinions on things. It might be a bit, okay? Just keep that in mind. Headless Chicken says, here's a question. Were they really tricked if they believed the things they were saying? Not if they in the spirit of what you're asking, no, but the trickery would come into, they were tricked into putting out Russian propaganda that was straight from Russia, right? Straight from RT. They may have thought that the sources that they were given
were legit, right? Were the information that they were getting was from independent sources, and they may have been lied to about that. The producers gave them their talking points, and they were told these are from independent actors, people who aren't affiliated with any government. They're just truth tellers, and they could have done no due diligence and checked it out themselves. And let's be clear, if you're running a huge show, that's especially if you're trying to get different guests and wrangle that, that you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of real in-depth information digging. Big shows like this usually have people who do that for you, right? You usually have a team behind you that will, producers, right, who will feed you these information, right? You hire people that you trust to do this. You hire people that you trust is going to give you the information that is accurate and that you want. So if they were being fed false information thinking it was legit, then yeah, they were deceived. They were deceived. What was that? Hold on. Give me a second. What's that quote from Lord of the Rings? I want this to be clipped. Hold on. Give me a second, gang. Here we go. Okay. But they were all of them deceived, for another producer was made. Okay. They were all of them deceived. Tim Pool, Lauren Southern, Benny Johnson, Tucker Carlson. 4 rings. 4 rings to rule the alt media space were crafted and forged. But 1 ring was made in order to rule them all, in secret and in shadow, in dark spaces, unbeknownst to them. And when they put the ring on, they were destroyed. But they did not realize their destruction at first. No, the destruction was slow. It was insidious. And it came upon them like a thief in the night. So there you go. I'm sure I could have done that better, but it just came to me off the dome. If anyone is good at this, editing stuff, right? Make a little short of clips from Lord of the Rings where, you have the Art Putin crafting the rings of power, okay? And sending it to the Dwarf Lords or the alternative media guys and having a picture of Lauren Chen and Tim Pool and all of them putting on the rings. It would be good content. If I was better at Photoshop and things like that, I would be doing it myself because that's a top tier meme, gang. That's a top tier meme. That would have been great. $20. Hawson Harrison says the ring of 1,000 griffs. The ring of 1,000 griffs. Yes, I love it. Thank you for the $20, brother. Really appreciate it. If you're liking this content, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps. If you've enjoyed the shows I've had recently, right, with Destiny and others, it really does help if you do like the content. I get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of likes. So please hit that like button. It really does help. If you're watching this on Twitch or on Kick, hit the follow button. That also helps. $5 from Fates. Has anyone considered Russia is sowing dissent on both sides, or are we just going to assume it's only one side that's captured? Elaborate for me, buddy. What do you mean sowing dissent on both sides? That's usually how sowing dissent works. To be clear, they play both sides against each other. Though it can take many different forms. But if you think that well, here, I'll give you this example. One of the people that I am planning on having on my show on this next week is a man by the name of Non-Smoker. And I'll give you the TLDR of his take. That he is upset that America has the gall to think that they are the only ones that should be spreading their propaganda, right? So he is upset that they're even making charges about this, okay? So non-smoker is a tanky. He is on the left. He's a communist, to be clear. And yeah, playing both sides. If obviously it's a meme at this point. Like, you guys remember Hassan's whole shtick was that, oh no, Russia will never invade. They're never going to invade Ukraine. It's not an invasion. For weeks before the invasion happened, that was the line he was parroting, okay? They'll never invade. Russia will never go into Ukraine. Putin is not a nice guy, but he's not stupid. He'd never do that, right? And just shill. Okay? America and NATO are the true enemies, right? That's his line, right? He hates NATO. He hates America. So yeah, I don't know if there's been no indictments that he's being funded by Russia, to be clear. But I would not be shocked if they had also been amplifying his content. So he's on the left. So yeah, I guess in that context, that both sides they're using both sides to play ball. Yeah, sure. Well, I'll give you that. Toby1 Kenobi says, "Are you going to push back hard enough for non-smoker?" Look, I'm trying to get. Okay, I'll give a. I'll let you in on the secrets of my craft. I sent out an email to Lauren Southern. I have a connect with her, right? I have someone that knows her, and I won't say I leaned on them. I asked them, right? Hey, can you make her aware that I'm sending her an email about this? And hopefully she says yes to coming in and having a conversation about this. My goal is if I could have the perfect panel on this, it would be non-smoker, Lauren Southern, Destiny, and someone who is good faith from the right. I'd have to think about that more. But 3 + 1, right? So non-smoker, right, who is hardcore Russian shill on the left. Lauren Southern, who's accused of being a Russia shill on the right. And Destiny. Oh, counter would be that's a great idea. Counterpoints. Absolutely. Principle before politics. Thank you for the sub. Also, No Cow Mike, 20 months. Thank you for the sub. So, No Cow Mike, 20 months. Principle before politics, 15 months. Twitch. Oh, by the way, Twitch, it's September, apparently. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know what that means, but it has sub in the name. And I am on a hype train right now on Twitch. So if you want to help me out, now's the time. If you've ever felt like gifting me some subs, give me your Prime sub, these things, it would really help me. Audacity says not counterpoints. Why not? What's wrong with counterpoints? Dylan Burns? Dylan Burns would be useful. In fact, instead of Destiny, Principle for Politics, thank you for the gift subs. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you. How many did you give me? 10 tier 1 gift subs. Woo! Look at you go. I love it. That's what September is. Yeah. Yes. Honkler with 10 gifted memberships on YouTube. Well, thank you for that. I don't know if September works for YouTube, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you. I really do. It really does help me out. Dylan is in Ukraine right now, so I think scheduling him may be harder. Yeah, but I think this is one of those things. If I did get Lauren Southern that he'd want to be on, I think he'd make some time for me. I could be wrong. But that would be great. It would be a great show. Like, honestly, if I'm shooting for the stars, Tim Pool would come on my show, right? I know this has an almost 0 chance of happening, but we're talking like druthers here. We're talking like, what do we want? Okay. Marcus Uno says the indictment validates all my feelings. Again, word to the wise, indictments are not convictions, and we have to keep that in mind. Okay. Look, I'm with you, though. It does explain a lot if it's true. It does explain a lot if the accusations are correct. Headless Chicken says, I'm a legit hate watcher. I just still have respect. It's okay to hate watch me. Still watching me, baby. Look, I don't know what there is to hate about Wick. Hate how handsome I am. Hate how right I am all the time. Hate how sometimes I am a little smug when I'm right. It's true. That happens. But yeah. Awesome is Coyote says, if you want a shit show, get Steven Crowder with Destiny. That would be a nightmare, but it would get you the views. Again, look, any of these big names, if I can get them, I'll have them on. No doubt. I just don't know. Look, the biggest names I've gotten on were Cenk Uygur and Joe Walsh. Those have been the biggest names I've had on. Though, I guess rivaling them is Bishu Mom. Do you guys remember I did a show with Bishu's mom? Bishu's mom? I don't know how to say her name. But I think she rivaled them in Instagram follower count and fame. She's just famous in a different way. Okay. But she was a interesting conversation. No Cow Mike says, if you tell us to look one more time. Fair enough. Cancel the Communist says, my priors are actually so on point. Me if this all stakes out as true. True enough. Audacity, thank you for the tier 2 gift sub. Really appreciate it. Well, no, you subscribed yourself, so it's not a gift sub. It's a gift to yourself. Fate says, yeah, why hate watch Wick? He's one of the few reasonable lefties. He has his views, and that's fine. See, Fates, this is a thing, okay? The fact that you think I'm a reasonable lefty means that there's a lot of lefties who think I'm a fascist enabler. So, can't win them all. That's one thing you learn real quick in this area is that no matter what your views are, you are going to piss people off. There are going to be people who do not like you, who do not like what you say, who do not like your stances, who do not like you as a person. And that's okay. That's okay. It's very okay. Not everyone has to like me. It is weird to, like, if I hate something, I don't usually watch it. So it is weird when people do that, but I invite it to. Because I think it's important to have people who aren't just going to suck my dick all the time, right? Who are going to tell me, no, I think you're wrong. No, I think you're being stupid here. No, Wick, you're retarded, right? I think that's important. So I appreciate you, my dear hate watchers, okay? I appreciate you. Aircraft Sparky says, I think you're reasonable. Destiny was once reasonable, but he's gone down a dark path. Look, Destiny, I still think Destiny's a good guy. I think that he's been worm-tongued, gang. He's been worm-tongued. People have gotten to him. Okay? Josiah. I think Josiah has turned him to the dark side on the court packing thing, okay? I blame Josiah directly. What's this hype chest shit? I'm not touching it. We will drag Destiny to the left slowly but surely, comrades. Over my dead look, if you guys watched yesterday, I think Destiny recognized that his arguments were a little weak. I could be wrong. I don't think we changed his mind, but I think he recognized his arguments were a little weak. That's the impression I got. Tug says the Supreme Court decision was hard on him. Maybe. Mantis says, I like your stream, but your Discord server is not for me. LOL. Fair enough, right? Well, I have different spaces that have different vibes. Like Twitch chat vibe is a lot different than YouTube chat vibe, which is a lot different than the Discord vibe. No, I get you. Fair enough. Lawson Harrison says, Wick, if I could read Destiny's mind, I would bet that he doesn't believe that the election stuff is just content anymore. Well, It never was just content. Elections have consequences. I just think that it matters how we get to where we're going, right? It matters the path we take. I think that a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that no matter how we get there, it's okay as long as we get there. I don't believe that. I think it does matter. The process matters. I would rather have a good process in place, right? Because consistently, over a long period of time, it leads to better outcomes. You might miss an outcome or two that you wanted. That happens. But over time, on the aggregate, you will get better outcomes overall. More better outcomes than you would if you're just short-term thinking all the time. Lawson Harrison says, no, I mean the stuff he is putting out will actually affect the political reality. To an extent, yes. Mooncake, hi. Welcome, Mooncake. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Cancel the Communist says, yeah, no, Destiny is a true believer like me that January 6th is so supremely disqualifying that it must be talked about. True. Mooncake says, I wish I knew more about what's going on, what is happening. Well, I wish I knew more about what was happening and what's going on too. So again, to reiterate, there was a indictment by the Department of Justice against TENET Media, its founders Lauren Chen and her husband, as well as 2 Russian operatives. And the allegation is that they were using, deceiving their commentators in order to push out Russian propaganda with the intent of sowing discord in America to further Russia's aims in a wide variety of areas, right? Including the Ukraine war. That's the accusation. We went over it. If you want to check out the highlights and stuff, Tim Pool's response, all that, we covered that. Tim Pool is an undercover Russian agent, unbeknownst to him, apparently, allegedly. Yeah, true. Again, I want to be clear. Even the indictment says that he was deceived, right? He was deceived. So he didn't know. You think he's a sleeper agent? Mooncake, do you want to come on and talk to me for a minute? Mantis says, sheesh, today has been wild. LOL, they're going to get wrecked. Who's going to get wrecked? Yeah, Mooncake, come in and tell me your thoughts about Tim Pool. Jump backstage. Very curious. You're from Canada, right? So is Lauren Chen. Answer for your country's crimes, okay? Answer for your country's crimes. You're in the car? Well, that doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help me at all. Damn, okay. Took says yesterday's convo was weak for him. Who are we talking about when it says weak? I don't know. Lauren Chen is hot. You know what? I actually don't know what Lauren Chen looks like. I'm sure I've seen her before, but it's one of those like images that just doesn't stick in the mind. So I couldn't, like, if you put her in a lineup and you asked me to pick out Lauren Chen, I probably couldn't do it. So I don't know if she's hot or not. Took says it was weak for Destiny. I feel like peace go up the rhetoric too much. I don't know what you mean by that, but fair enough. Mantis says racist Wick. I am racist against Canadians, actually. I'm very racist against Canadians. I put up with some. I even like some. Some of my friends are Canadian. I like Mooncake, for example. She's Canadian. I like Bronwyn. She's Canadian. But Canadians in general, like Why does, terrible person. Just all around. Okay. Someone that we should be racist against. Anti-Canadian, yeah, build the wall, the northern wall, motherfuckers, okay? We need the Night's Watch to guard the north against those invaders, okay? We need men in black to come up there to man the walls against the threat of Canadian invasion.
Fate says, "LOL, fuck us, no Mexicans, huh?" Can I say that on Twitch? I don't know. Is that a slur? I'm not sure. It's no Mexican. Mooncake says, as a Canadian, we are preparing for the eventual civil war in America. You and Tim Pool both, okay? You and Tim Pool both. What we really need is an internet shield that prevents retarded Canadians from expressing opinions in U.S. politics. Look, for whatever it's worth, a lot of my audience is Canadian. I don't know why, but it bothers me. Like, we talked about losing sleep over something that you don't intend to happen, but it happens anyway. Like, I think Tim Pool should lose sleep over the fact that Putin used him, right, to sow discord in America. An enemy of America used him for the purpose of weakening America. I think he should lose sleep over that. In that same vein, I lose sleep over the fact that I have so many Canadians in my space. I think, what did I do wrong? What am I doing that's bringing them out? Like, I don't know what it is, but I need to figure out what it is, and I need to stop it. I need to cut it out, right? Been too nice? Maybe. Shit. Okay. Ariana A asks, what is the probability of Lex getting paid by RT? Is it a non-zero chance? There's a probability that he's involved in this. Yes, I don't know what that percentage chance is, but yes, it's possible. I don't think he's connected to TENET Media, but I think this is just a tip of the I just think this is a tip of the iceberg. So, I think that this is the first instance. I don't think that it's going to be the only instance. This is just guesswork. This is my instinct, gang. This is my instinct. I don't think that this is going to be the only instance we see of knowingly or unknowingly people being funded by Russia directly in order to sow dissent in America, to produce content that sows dissent in America. I don't think Lex does that kind of content. I don't get the impression that that's the case from watching him. I could be wrong. I am biased when it comes to Lex. I'll be clear. I like Lex still. I know it's not popular to like him anymore, but I like Lex. I'll just own it. I like him. I like him as a person. I like his content. I don't think it's the best content ever, but I like it. I enjoy the style, right? But I know I'm gonna get flack for that. And I know I am biased because he likes me, gang. There's a good way to get to my heart, okay? If you like me, I tend to like you back. If you like me, I tend to like you. It's a reciprocal thing. If you dislike me, I tend to be less inclined to like you. Is that unique to me? I don't know, but it's just how I work, how I operate. Tainted Holy says, so one is similar being funded and you don't blame him, you just blame the people you don't know? To be clear, we have no evidence. There's been no accusations, or at least no indictments, that Lex Friedman is funded by Russia. There's been, unless you got information I don't, there's been no indictments of that. The only thing I'm speaking on right now is the indictment we do have, which alleges that Lauren Chen and TENET and her husband worked with Russian operatives in order to deceive their commentators and push Russian propaganda. Ariana A says, do you see the segment where Tim Pool stated that America should apologize to Russia and Ukraine is America's enemy? Doesn't this provide enough evidence against Tim Pool? That he's retarded? Yes. That he was knowingly aiding and abetting Putin in this? No. You can be retarded all on your own. You can be a Russian simp without getting a cent, without knowing that you're getting any aid or anything. Mantis says Lex is just too weak sauce as a conflict non-avoidant person. It annoys me. And yeah, not everyone's gonna like the fact that Lex just does softball interviews. That's his thing. He gets you up on a stage. Like, he pushes back time to time, but the pushback he gives is so minute and minor. The one exception to that would have been the Kanye interview he did. And even then, the pushback was very passive-aggressive pushback. It was like, you hurt my feelings pushback type deal, right? Zero Fuck says Rob Norris starting a stream and his opening theme is Russian music. Well, you gotta lean into that shit. Ariana A says this is disappointing. This is not even being charitable. What do you mean it's disappointing? You can be suspicious. Yes, you can be suspicious. You should be suspicious. But again, we can't just use suspicions to make certain statements. Remember, and I'll remind you, dear viewers, that before my channel name was Wick TV, it was Death of Certainty. I'll let you guess why. Schwango says, dude, Wick, no. He lectured Destiny for 20 minutes about calling people retarded. A lecture? I mean, again, I pushed back more on Destiny last night than Lex pushed back on Destiny. 100%. It was different in style. 100% different in style. If you watch Lex's interview with Destiny, and you watch last night's show I did with Destiny, and you see the way I push back versus the way Lex push back, and you say that they are the same, they are not the same. One is at a different level than the other. Overlord Cly said, V said I needed to tune in. Honkler said, that name goes hard. Why did you change it? Because no one could find it. Because the branding was bad. That's why I changed the name. But it is a great name. Yeah, Tim Pool says the wildest shit, pro-Russia shit. Yeah, he's pro-Russia. But there's a difference between, I think you're a pro-Russia person, then you are being actively paid by the Russian government in order to propagate information and sow division in America with that express purpose. These are different things. Do we disagree? Do you think that they're the same? I don't. I think that they are substantively different. Both are bad, to be clear. Both are bad. Both are really, really bad. But one is substantively worse than the other. See, this is the problem I had last night, too, where anytime I tried to say, yes, Trump is worse at this, but that does not excuse the Democrats, I would get pushback as if, oh, I'm letting the Republicans off the hook. That doesn't let them off the hook. No, I'm actively saying that they are worse on every metric. But that does not mean that the Democrats are perfect and above reproach. I don't know why this is a hard concept for some. Audacity says, I posit that he isn't pro-Russia, just anti-war to the point of hysteria. Maybe. Rabid Wombat says, I'd say, as a streamer, giving your opinion for free when you can get paid for it is the worst scenario. I mean, fair enough. Joe the Mig, thank you for the tier 1 sub. And cheers to you. Dear sir, dear viewer. So, Wick, you would say being pro-Russia talking points and being paid by Russia as in the same ballpark? I think that they are close, but it's a difference between being wrong and knowing you're wrong and lying. Does that make sense? That's how I view it. This is just how I view it.
if you have come to the opinion of a thing and you believe you are right, and because you believe you are right, you say that thing, to me, that is a different, even if you're dead wrong and being really disgusting, right? I think that's a different thing than someone who either does not care or knows what they're saying is bullshit, gets paid to say it, says it anyway, right? Knowing it's bullshit, and just doing it because they know that they're collecting a check with the knowledge that what they're doing is hurting America. Very different things to me. Does that make sense? Does anyone disagree? Audacity says that's fair, but the point is, if you end up there on your own, it's different than being paid to espouse those things, knowing that they are a lie or misleading. It's disingenuous, and I can't stand it. That shit. But the point is, if you end up there on your own, it's different. Yeah, you're agreeing with me, Audacity. I agree. Tim Pool is guilty of treason. I don't think he's guilty of treason, no. Being a Russia shill, yes. I think he is. I don't know for sure, right? But I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Do we even want to talk about the filibuster today? Should I save it for tomorrow, maybe? Look, again, I had a whole thing planned. If you guys could see my tabs, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 12 tabs opened just for the filibuster stuff. I had a whole show for you guys prepared. We were going to talk about Harry Reid. We were going to talk about Mitch McConnell. We were going to talk about the Democrats under Schumer. We were going to talk about the Republicans under McConnell, right? We were going to go through all of it. We're going to talk about what the filibuster is, how it manifests itself, the changes that have been made in the last 20 years to the filibuster. We were going to go through everything about it because Pisco said something yesterday that at the time I was busy wrangling everyone, so I wasn't able to process it fully. But when I thought about it for 5 seconds, he said one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard anyone say. He said that McConnell did not end the filibuster when Trump pressured him to do so because he had already passed his legislative agenda, that he had already gotten everything he wanted to do done, and they didn't need to end the filibuster because they'd already done it all. If that's true, then what the fuck were the Democrats filibustering? They were just doing it for fun? For kicks? Obviously not. And I have data, and again, I went through. There's like 12 bills that were destroyed by the filibuster after 2017. And again, these are the ones that were actually filibustered and not the ones that didn't get anywhere because they were under the threat of filibuster. There's over and over and over again, this happened, right? Like, look, one of the most recent examples was the COVID bill, right? In 2020, 2021 era, right? They tried to pass a COVID relief bill. McConnell did. It was very watered down. So the Democrats used the filibuster to stop that from happening so that when they got into power, they could pass a more robust version of the bill, right? And it worked like a charm. And this idea that we live in this world where the Democrats are always taking the high road and there's never a tit for tat, that's the opposite of true. We live in the tit for tat world. Harry Reid nuking the filibuster for judicial appointments was the tat to McConnell's tit. That was our tit for tatting, okay? It did not work out for us. It did not go well. But yeah. Trump's wall, yeah, that's one of the things they filibustered. Cognitive dissonance says, I don't like filibusters. They take too long. The person just keeps running on and on and on and on. That's funny. Let's not talk about Mitch's tit. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that tomorrow we are going to do the filibuster stuff.
because I think it bears discussing. I think that we need to go over it because a lot of people don't understand. For whatever reason, they've gotten this retconned version of history that Democrats are always the victims and have never, they just sit back and do nothing while the Republicans do whatever they like, and no one ever stops the Republicans, and the Democrats are always caving in. That's never been true. Look, the Democrats sometimes win, sometimes lose. Republicans sometimes win, sometimes lose. But in my lifetime, there have always been a power struggle between these two that have used, both of them have used various parliamentary procedures, senatorial procedures, I guess you'd call them in America, right? Senatorial procedures, and all these kinds of like ways around things in order to get one up against the enemy, right? Or the political opponents. Both sides engage in this all the time, right? So the idea that Democrats are simply just cucking out, it's just not true. In fact, the Democrats are really, really good in certain ways of getting what they want. Nancy Pelosi is a great example of this. She did a lot to have her way to get things done when she was the House Speaker. Harry Reid was also an example of someone who fought like hell, right? Who was known. Harry Reid single-handedly changed how the Senate operates in a lot of ways beyond just the nuking of the filibuster, right? He made it into much more of a contrarian space where there was a lot more partisanness, for better or worse. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not making a moral judgment here, right? But again, it's this idea that Democrats just cuck out all the time. It's just not bearing out if you look at this at all, right? With any kind of objective lens. It's just not true, right? We do our own fuckery. And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's good, right? Sometimes it's good. It's not always good, though. And I think that my contention here is that we have eroded the norms so much. Both sides have done this. And the Republicans, yes, in recent days have been worse. Yeah. But it's come to a point where we need different solutions than the ones being offered, such as court packing or rolling back a single judicial Supreme Court nominee in order to put one in for Obama, right? We need different solutions to that. I think Ryan, who was on last night, had some really good ideas about it. But yeah, we have to recognize that we are in the place we are today is because we are all insisting on the tit for tat game. That's why we're here. That's how we've gotten to the place we are. By everything Destiny wants to do and Pisco wants to do, that's what we've been doing for the last 10 fucking years, at least. And they want to do it some more and expect a different outcome. Come on. Wick. Schwengo says this. Wick, you do understand that the Republican Party is gone, right? They got infected with Trump radiation. Now it's just right-wing populism. Conservatism be damned. Yeah, I think Trump has destroyed the Republican Party. Yes. That doesn't change what I'm saying. That doesn't change any of my points. Cancel the Communist says, we should be true partisans and remove Kavanaugh, even though by rights it should be ACB or Gorsuch that gets removed because Kavanaugh sucks the most. Well, thank you for the input. Debate Pisco if he wants to debate. I'm happy to have him on. He has my DMs, as he demonstrated last night. J-Stock Boo? What's J-Stock being brought up for? I don't even know. I'm looking. Why are we talking about J-Stock? Oh. Okay, gang. We've gone over the Trump stuff, or the Tim Pool stuff. Trump stuff. We've gone over the Tim Pool stuff.
I want to do a panel on this next week. I'll probably set it up. The filibuster stuff I might do tomorrow. I might do the deep dive tomorrow, and we go through all the evidence, right? All the evidence that I've gathered. Okay, go through articles, go through the bills themselves that got filibustered, right? Do argumentation, right? Talk about Harry Reid, his legacy. Talk about Mitch McConnell, his legacy. All this. Cancel the Communist says, are you done at 8 tonight? Because I'm going to hop to your PV Bros on Live and Learn if you're ending soon. Yes, I am ending soon. Do we want to raid them? Did they stream on Twitch? I don't know. We could raid into Pisco. You guys want to raid into Pisco? Why not? Tell him that I think he's dumb about the filibuster. How about that? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll raid to Pisco, and I want you all to tell him that this is a hate raid, okay? And that he's dumb about the filibuster. He's wrong. Cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk filibuster unless something crazy happens. And then Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be having Tuna Chip on, and we're going to have some discussions. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Thank you for the donations. If you've enjoyed the content, like, subscribe, all that. But until then, my brothers and sisters, I bid thee adieu. Adieu. Well, we got like 10 seconds before the raid goes, so give me a second. Bye, everyone. Bye, bye, bye.